A great win for Ricky Carmichael in the first moto. Here's Tortelli with that sore ankle or foot. Next to Kevin Windham, who did him no favors in the first moto. And there's Carmichael. Let's watch him as they're off and running. Carmichael with a good start. Carmichael with a great start. He'll get the whole shot. A good clean first turn anyway as Carmichael comes out of it on top. Shane King in third. A big red Honda right behind Ricky Carmichael. And it looks like Kevin Windham. Uh-oh, trouble for Albertine. And number 982 is Akira Narita. He's gone this whole series. Japanese rider having his problems with Albertine. Ricky Carmichael out on top. Kevin Windham 1-2 just like before.
I suppose Kevin knows now that just keeping a little bit of pressure isn't enough on Carmichael.
And David Villeman goes down. Looks like a Suzuki there in front of him. I can't see who it is right now. It's Ted Campbell, number 96. Okay. So all kinds of action as this track just seems to reach up and grab the riders.
Carmichael's got to be feeling pretty good, knowing that he was able to outlast Kevin in that first moto. He should be able to do the same thing again. He knows that Tortelli's not 100%, so who the heck else is out there that can run him down? Another thing is, it's not that hot here at Troy, Ohio, and the humidity is down from years past. So that's even got to give him more of a boost psychologically, that he doesn't have to deal with that heavy humidity. Kevin Windham, though, looking for opportunity right now. Ooh, he's on the go. Great shot. Bar to bar we go. Kevin Windham moves out in front. Ricky Carmichael comes back. That's what Kevin's got to do. He's got to keep the pressure on. Let him know. I mean, the more pressure, the better. Ricky Carmichael and Windham go at it. Davey.
Well, we know that Sebastian Tortelli's out there riding in pain. He is riding in the top 5. That's much better than 2 of the other former GP contenders throwing 0 on the first lap. Greg Albertine fell in that second turn, could not get the bike started. It looked like it was flooded. Finally, his mechanic Joe Maurer had to jump up and start it. And David Villeman, who didn't up the first moto, well, the Frenchman off to another bad lap. He crashed in the back. It looks like this is going to be his most disastrous day as a professional racer in America.
Yeah, tough day for Villeman, that's for sure. His worst day prior was at Southwick with a 10th when he had a DNF, and the first moto came back for a 3rd. But that was a clutch problem in the first moto, David. It's nothing like going down and experiencing what he's done here today. Shane King getting harassment now from Sebastian Tortelli, and you've got to give this young man credit.
Absolutely. And you're talking about a guy that wasn't sure if he was going to ride the second moto or not. There he makes the pass. I should move him up into 4th. I mean, the question's been answered. Tortelli can ride in pain, and just like Carmichael, he's just going to do whatever it takes to win this championship.
Well, the word has just been sent down that Sebastian Tortelli not only got his ankle or foot taken off the pegs once, but twice in that first moto.
Well, each time he heads into these jumps that are just filled with ruts, he's got to be right on the toe of his foot on that foot peg. Imagine if you just compress into one of those ruts right there, the bike gets real close to the ground, and if your toe's hanging over the front of the foot peg, it's going to grab it again.
Boy, he might have trouble getting his boot off after this second moto. Sebastian Tortelli, though, hanging in there. He's in 4th behind Mike LaRocco in 3rd. But it's Ricky Carmichael leading everyone. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Troy, Ohio. Second moto, 250s. Ricky Carmichael is our leader, but right now the battle is for 6th place. You got the privateer, number 33, Heath Voss. There's Robbie Raynard, number 17, trying to get into the act. Raynard has been kind of hot and cold this year. He's had some outstanding performances, but he's also had some miserable days.
He needs to get Ryan Hughes as a coach. I was watching the show last week when he kind of just didn't put up much of a fight when Carmichael got by, and Ryan let him have it. And, you know, Ryan's right. You need to see a guy like with the talent of Raynard try a little bit harder. The guy should be up there battling for the lead, not with these guys.
Number 16, John Dowd, and Raynard is going after Dowd right now. And he moves into 7th. So Robbie Raynard moving up the ladder. There's Larry Ward, number 10, and Tim Ferry, number 15. So it's Raynard taking on Voss right now.
What a ride for Voss. I mean, look at the talent he's got back there behind him. All factory riders. He's smoking them so far.
Well, this could be Voss's finest overall performance if he hangs in there tough. Inside move, Raynard.
Well, look at that kind of stuff. I mean, just standing up, he snuck right in there and already opens up a gap, pulls a tear away, just flicks the back end over a little bit so he lands where he wants. The guy's unbelievable. It's just amazing that you don't see a little bit more of that.
Tim Ferry this time now in the battle with Voss. And the two Kawasaki riders dueling with each other, Larry Ward and John Dowd. It's Ward getting in front of Dowdy. Dowdy's had a difficult season this year.
Well, I think there was an adjustment process and then a few injuries. Look at that. Ferry right there, dicing with Raynard. Raynard gets the best of that battle.
There's the leading privateer going through the shot, number 112. That's Kyle Lewis on a Suzuki. But Robbie Raynard now in front of Tim Ferry. Robbie Raynard certainly showing his talent at Southwick, where he led one race for 7 laps and took a second in the first moto and a well-deserved 4th in the second moto for a 3rd overall. But that's been the lone highlight really for Robbie this year.
Like I always say, there's always Millville. You know he's going to go fast there. And Ferry doing a great job of fighting back. Get back ahead of him. These guys are duking it out and starting to pull away from that other group.
It's one great thing about this sport. Regardless of who's out in front and battling for the points, there's always these races back through the entire field that make it really fun for these riders. Shane King in 5th spot now behind Tortelli. Mike LaRocco holding on to 3rd. John Dowd rounding out that top 10. Damian Platz, another fine performance for that privateer. And look at that. Did you see that? David Villeman in 16th.
That's just ugly. And I think he's pretty much given up on the idea that he can still win this championship. That's gone now, and it hasn't entirely been his fault. He's had a little bit of bad luck with bike problems, and I'll tell you what, he's got more respect for Carmichael and Tortelli now than he did at the start of the season, and sometimes that's what you need. You need to get a little slap, a little dose of reality, realize how much talent you're up against, because things went well for him in the Supercross. He needs to attack the outdoors with a little bit more aggression and probably a little bit more respect for some of these guys that have been doing it for a while.
So will it? Oh, Tortelli went down. No, he's got to be in pain, David.
That's too bad. You know, last year the season pretty much ended with him injured, and I just hate to see that be the reason that he can't win this championship, or at least have a shot at it.
And Ricky Carmichael is just breezing along, and Ricky's looking for another sweep.
You can't breeze a whole lot because, once again, Kevin Windham has not entirely let him off the hook. And Carmichael has got to fly through berms like that for the rest of this race. Otherwise, you see Kevin is right there.
He's about 3 seconds behind.
LaRocco's not that far behind those two, and you know what happens to LaRocco at the end of the race.
He just gets tougher and tougher all the way, doesn't he?
That's kind of a neat way to win in that corner, too. I wouldn't suggest it. But standing up on a wheelie through some, I don't even know how he did that, really, but it was slick. That's why he's going so fast.
It's also rumored that LaRocco is already re-signed with Honda. He has a contract with Honda and his own team, AMSOIL Honda. Looks like that'll be back around. In fact, AMSOIL Honda might have a bigger working relationship with the factory Honda team.
One of the big assets for having LaRocco around is his ability to test. I've seen him test out the Honda track, tires and everything, and you know, the guy is so consistent out there, and he's got such a good feel for things. It really helps the rest of the team.
Our Suzuki stopwatch had him about 6 seconds behind the leader, Ricky Carmichael, but anything can happen here in the waning moments of our second moto of 250 action. And look at the long drought of riders after LaRocco.
Still no Tortelli.
Looks like Tortelli's wife out there giving him some encouragement now as number 21 finally comes around. And Tim Ferry, number 15, trying to pick up a spot. Looking ahead on our Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross schedule after Washougal, it's Millville, Binghamton, and Delmar. We're back with 250 action now as Tim Ferry and Sebastian Tortelli are going at it. As we explained earlier in the moto, Sebastian Tortelli has had all kinds of injury problems with that ankle. He tweaked it twice in the first moto, and he's been down here in the second moto. He looks back to see where Tim Ferry is. He's losing valuable points now as Ferry goes bar to bar with him and makes the pass. Coming back is Tortelli. He is tough. He is very tough, but Ferry is in right now better physical condition. I don't mean working out wise. I mean that Tortelli has been battered in this moto.
He's still fighting. He knows those are points that could make the difference in the championship. Now, see, he was trying to square off Ferry. Right here, he has the option to cut underneath him and go to the inside. He thought Ferry might guess that way, so he figured I'll go wide, but Ferry had the inside and controlled it perfect. And then Tortelli, he could have been a little overzealous right there and clipped the back wheel of Ferry and gone down, but he was smart, realized, well, Ferry knows what I'm doing. I better just put on the brakes a little bit and play it safe.
Carmichael still has the handle on first place, but Wyndham not far back. Carmichael cannot afford a mistake. But right here is where the best racing is. And what a shot, looking right into the eyes almost of Tim Ferry.
Just smokes around that berm right there. Great balance. I'll tell you what, if you were to go out and watch Tim Ferry ride, just practice, or to watch him at any practice session at the National, you think, man, this guy can win. You know, so I talked about it in the first moto. The results don't show the talent this guy has, and I hope he gets an opportunity next year to go out and show what he can do.
Ferry, his best performance overall this year was at Budds Creek with a 5th. He went 5-5 in that one. Well, he got a 5th in the first moto of this particular meeting. So Ferry right now in 4th. And that would mean it would be his best day of the season. It's coming at the right time.
The worst possible timing for Tortelli. But you got to earn it. And Tortelli right now, he made his mistakes, had his injuries. It's all part of racing. And Ferry right now is riding excellent and deserves that position.
Tortelli coming into Troy has 3 second places and a win in the last 4 races. But he's had his problems here today. There's no question about it. And not only today, but will this ankle be a big problem in the following race at Washougal and then Millville? Sometimes if it's not a broken bone, it can take longer to heal.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I've had plenty of ankle injuries during my career. And I never missed a race, but I rode in a lot of pain. And I'm sure Tortelli can do the same thing. You don't want to have to do it, but when you're going after a title, that's what it takes.
Ferry checking his position out, looking back to see where Sebastian was. Let's go to Davey.
Jerry, good battle between Tim and Sebastian for 4th spot. I got to tell you, this is the best we've seen Tim ride this summer.
He's had a few good races. We're just, if he's his own worst enemy with starts. If he just get a better start, he can probably run up there with these guys for a while. He gets in that gap, and that's that gap we have a hard time filling every weekend after weekend. So, and he knows it, so we're working as hard as we can to try to fill it.
Right now, Tortelli's putting a lot of pressure on. Do you think he'll treat Tortelli differently because he was the points leader in contention for the race, or is this no holds barred motocross?
This is a no holds barred deal. You know, everybody's out here to make a living, and so is Timmy. So I'm sure Tortelli would do the same if we were in the same position.
Well, Tortelli hasn't given up yet. Look out, Sebastian's on the roll right now. Tim Ferry can't hold on to it. Tortelli with a very significant pass into 4th.
This is a gutsy ride. You know the guy's riding in pain. Imagine when you just go to step on your foot, a sharp pain shoots all through it and up your leg, okay? And he's out there racing like that.
In the span of 6 seasons, Jeff Stanton and his mechanic Dan Bentley put together an impressive resume.
But we won 6 national championships, 3 Supercross, 3 national, 89, 90, and 92.
With all those titles and race wins, it wasn't all good times in the Honda pits.
I believe there has to be bad times in order to have that many race wins and that many championships. If everything's great all the time, I feel that's not a good thing. You know, Dan disciplined me, and that's what a rider needs to hear. That they can't always hear that things are great. You got to have as much discipline as you do praise. And Dan knew how to push that and get that out of me, which was outstanding.
This dynamic duel complemented one another perfectly. They came together only by the luck granted by the motorcycle gods.
I was lucky enough to get hooked up with Jeff by chance. Didn't know him because of my past experience. Dave Arnold put me with Jeff, And I flew to Paris, met Jeff for the first time, and things just started to click, and it worked out great. I was very, very fortunate to get hooked up with him.
Today, Stanton and Bentley work behind the scenes for Team Honda. And as Jeff looks back on his racing days, he wishes he took more time to appreciate it.
If you look back on it, I guess I would say that I wished I would have enjoyed it a little more than I did, but I was that way. I was so serious, and Dan was the same, you know, very serious and, you know, stuck right to his schedule on working on the bikes and putting in the effort that they had to put in to win those races and championships. So if you look back on it, you probably wish you would have enjoyed it a little bit more, but after it's all said and done, you know, like you say, the race wins and the championships, you had that to look back on. So it was an outstanding career for both of us.
Well, thanks to their no-nonsense approach, Jeff Stanton and Dan Bentley provided race fans with some great memories. Boy, that was truly an exciting moment to view, with Stanton coming back, taking that title right out of the hands of Bradshaw. Right now, we've got a oh, they're rubbing plastic right now. Tim Ferry coming up, giving a little touch to Sebastian Tortelli. Gives a little more than a touch. Kind of forces him off the track right there. Ferry is really digging. It's contract time for Timmy.
I'll tell you what, Tortelli probably thought he had that already just handled. He figured, okay, I got this guy back. Maybe he'll finally leave me alone. Now Ferry fights back, riding the best moto of the season so far, and Raynard's next. So Tortelli is having a tough time of it.
And Jerry, with a good smile on his face, confident his rider will stay there. Raynard is coming up in back of Tortelli now. So Tortelli in 5th, Raynard in 6th, David.
Don't be fooled by the posture of Raynard. A lot of times it looks like he doesn't even really try that hard, but he is, and Tortelli gets him back.
Incredible battle as we see Ferry and Sebastian Tortelli just going back and forth at it. Tortelli, of course, trying to recapture as many points as possible, with Ricky Carmichael still out in front. We'll return in a moment. The Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross Series is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And by Honda, the company that defines performance on 2 wheels. Performance first. And by Suzuki, makers of innovative motorcycles and ATVs. Well, it's been a fascinating session here at Troy, Ohio, at Kenworthy's farm, as Ricky Carmichael is looking more and more like it's going to be a sweep for him. It'll be his 3rd sweep on the season. And for Carmichael, then, it would be his 5th victory overall and 9th moto win. That's incredible.
Pretty dominant. And, you know, he's been feeling pretty. It's a mindset. It's completely in the head. When you get this good, the top 4 guys can all ride about the same. Ricky doesn't believe in himself as much indoors as he does outdoors. And here's the difference.
Carmichael, overwhelmingly the lap leader of the season. And if he finishes out this race, it looks like he will have led about 30 laps today. And he's got time now to acknowledge the fans that are cheering him along the way.
Just a few more corners and he'll have that sweep. Boy, what a boost in the points.
He'll have that big points lead, yes.
Yeah, like you said, can Tortelli come back to the next round healthy? I don't think so. He's probably going to be about 80 or 90% at best.
Well, RC should win the championship. He would get into that exclusive club of only 6 riders to win a 125 national title and a 250 national title. Hanna, Ward, Kudrowski, Emig, and Henry. Boy, those are some big names to put RC next to, huh?
He deserves it.
And it's a fact that only Jeff Ward has come off a 125 title and won a 250 title the next year, of which he would duplicate. The checkers for Ricky Carmichael. Kevin Windham taking a 2nd place, and Mike LaRocco holding on to that 3rd. So you had 2 Hondas in front of Tortelli, who was battling the ankle injury.